42,000 feet altitude, you're going over 500 miles per hour. See a little light on your console that's blinking. It's letting you know that your number one engine is gone, flying in a Hornet. Next thing you know, you're getting an audible noise letting you know that your second engine is out. You're going to go down, you're going to crash. Who packed your parachute? My name is Steve Robson. I'm a first-class aircrew survival equipment man in the United States Navy. I've packed over 100 ejection seat parachutes for my duration in the Navy. Today I'm going to be talking to you about what it takes to pack a parachute for an ejection seat aircraft. Okay, first thing you're going to do is you're going to check all your tools before you even open a parachute. You're going to do this before and after, because at the end, if you're missing a tool, chances are it's caught up in the parachute itself, and when it goes to open, you can stop that operation. You're also going to inspect your table. You've got a packing table the length of the entire parachute, and you're going to check it for nicks, burrs, anything that could catch that canopy and put a hole in it. So, first thing you're going to do is you're going to get you as the packer and the helpers on the other side of the table, and you're going to remove the canopy and the entire parachute from the container. You're going to stretch it the length of the table. You're going to put it under tension. You're going to pull it taut. There's a winch at the end of the table, and that way you can inspect the gores while they're laid out correctly. And you're going to start with what's called a service life inspection. The Navy deems that some items on a parachute can only last so long, and they can't expire during that pack cycle. So you're going to start your, well, first of all, I've got a visual here. This is what it looks like from the bottom once you put your parachute under tension. You've got all your lines laid out correctly, and your canopy is up there. It's also going to be laid out. So you're performing your canopy inspection. You've got your canopy laid out as so. You on this side, the helper's going to be on this side. Now, what you've got to do is you get each gore of the parachute, and you go up and down. You're looking for any discoloration, anything that might be mold, or any tears in the fabric. And you're going to check continuity of your suspension lines. What happens is, from your risers on top of your harness, it goes up to the canopy, and if any of them are twisted, not correct, laid out, then when you're descending, it's going to have a twist in it, and you're going to plummet. So you're performing your canopy inspection, your suspension line inspection, and you check for continuity. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to start your stowage of the parachute. So what you do is you're working from the bottom where the container is up into the top of the canopy. And the first thing you've got to do is you've got to stow your suspension lines. And you stow them in a container just like this. See, it's got little ridges for you to place your suspension lines. And you've got to place them correctly so that when the canopy is expanding, it's going to pull those directly out in order, so there's no tangles or anything. So you've got your suspension lines stowed in the container now. So now you're going to start actually folding and packing your canopy. Here's a side view of the parachute container with some folds of the canopy into the container, and you're actually going to have to use a press. Some parachutes use a 5-ton hydraulic press. It's huge, and the parachute we're looking at is a APS 24. It's for an F-18 A, B, C, or D, also known as a baby Hornet, and you just use a hand press, and basically you make your fold. Put it into the container, put the press on it, press it down, put the right amount of pressure on it so that it lays correctly in the container. So you get your canopy stowed into the container. Next thing you do, you're going to put your lid on there. After that, you do what's called post-closure inspections. This is where you're going to check some of the outside components of the parachute assembly. The big one is the PHSRU, the Parachute Harness Sensing Releasing Unit. Now this is on the risers itself. It'll disconnect it from the canopy because if you get knocked unconscious during ejection and then you hit the water, if the canopy fills with water and catches a tide, it's going to drag you underneath and drown you. So this sensing unit, once it is submerged in salt water, it explodes and blows the canopy off of the harness itself so it can go away. And you'll have a life preserver unit which will inflate at the same time. And you'll be unconscious, but you'll be floating, you'll be stable. After the PHSRU, you're going to check your tools again. Make sure that they're all there. Don't want to have anything left inside the container. Like I said before, I've actually seen a shop bag left inside of a parachute. It would have been disastrous for that pilot. Now, during your inspection, if you find any discrepancies from the past inspections, you've got to send out a message to the fleet letting them know that, hey, this person that packed a parachute is packing them incorrectly. It could lead to a fatality if utilized. So you've got to be meticulous with your inspection. Make sure you're doing it by the book as well. The packer and the helper pack the parachute, and then a third person comes behind them called a collateral duty inspector. And they check key points on the packing that NavAir has deemed necessary, so that if you have tunnel vision, you're so worried about packing it quickly or whatever, this person comes and checks these key points, making sure that they're done correctly. After that's done, the job's not done until the paperwork's done. You've got to create a new history record for this parachute assembly that stays with it. It lets it know who the packer was, who the helper was. It's got all the components of the assembly with it. And finally, you'll sign off your maintenance action form, letting the upline know that you've packed the parachute. In conclusion, you now know what it takes to pack a parachute somewhat for the United States Navy for an ejection seat equipped aircraft. I thank you for listening and thank you for your time.